My name is Rohan.
My name is Shipra, and this is our surrogacy journey. Our decision to pursue the surrogacy journey stemmed from our fertility journey, which was a long, painful, and unexpected journey that we found ourselves on. I had a series of unexplained miscarriages, and we tried anything and everything under the sun. We also did IVF treatments, which didn't take, and we found ourselves in a position unsure what to do. We had unexplained infertility, and we didn't quite know what our next steps would be.
The issue that we face is that after one miscarriage after the other, we just parked it, put it into a box and moved on, and then eventually that box exploded. Definitely would say it was a very dark period of time. Something I would never wish on anybody to be able to go through. You know, as being your partner, as being a male, right, I felt very hopeless.
It took a very big toll on me. It brought me to a very dark place in my life, just because on paper, you know, when we started trying to have children, I was young, under 30, healthy otherwise. So it just seemed like one of those situations where on paper there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to. It just didn't make sense. The whole journey, I really had to step away from it, take a break from everything, and just, that's when I worked on myself. I worked on my mental health again, you know, seek therapy, change my lifestyle in terms of just focusing on myself, figuring out who I was again, putting a focus back on who we were as a couple, really taking that time to kind of just reassess who we want to be again.
And, you know, that's why when, you know, we talk to other people, we tell them that it's really important, like, you know, to like talk about it, understand how each one's feeling. Don't try to like, you know, okay, let's just get back on it, right? Like process it.
The decision to pursue surrogacy just stemmed from a point of having tried something for so long, having no answer, dealing with feelings of guilt and failure, and really taking a pause in everything and taking the time to kind of reassess what we wanted. We'd had a family friend who'd gone down the surrogacy route herself, and she'd always been an advocate for it, always encouraged me to consider it. But for the longest time, I never felt ready, and I never thought it was for me, and I felt like pregnancy was something I had to do. It was for my body and me to do. So accepting surrogacy just felt very foreign to me until finally I realized that me carrying my own child was probably not a viable reality, and really accepting that, and then just talking to her and getting guidance from her. She was a wealth of knowledge when it came to the resources, the process, kind of everything that's involved, from the legal work, the legal paperwork, to the emotions that come along with surrogacy, because it's also a very emotional process. So it was not an overnight decision. It wasn't at all our first decision, not how I envisioned we would start a family when we, you know, first started almost a decade ago to try and have kids.
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, it definitely was a long journey, but having, I think, that resource, that family member who's gone through that really helped, you know, answer a lot of questions that I think a lot of people don't have answers to. And obviously, even from just being, you know, from a South Asian culture, from a background, you know, there's obviously a lot of stigmas and stuff like that. And, you know, having someone go through that and being able to help, you know, be able to share some of those experiences with like our family members really helped open the door and provided a different opportunity to us. And we're very grateful for that, and then through that entire journey that we went through. But I think you have to first make sure you accept it yourselves, and that's what we did, right? We made sure we were ready for this process, both, you know, mentally and physically, right? It's a different process, and so that was really helpful in that process.
I was very vocal about, this is our journey, this is what we're doing, and this is how we're doing it. So we didn't kind of mask anything, we didn't hide anything, we were just very open, and anyone who had questions, we were happy to answer it. And you know, Rohan mentioned, we've had people come to us, like I've had my mom say, my friend's daughter's friend is interested in surrogacy. Are you open to talking to her? And these are complete strangers that I've never met. Or I've had friends of friends approach me being like, I have a friend who might want to do it. She's not too sure. Do you mind having a chat with her? So that's been my way of really opening up that conversation and kind of breaking down those walls around it, because I was fortunate in that we had our family friends, so I had a resource that I'd personally known, but if not for her, I'm not sure who I would have talked to, where I would have gotten some of the information. And of course, I'm sharing my experience, and the next person who's gone through surrogacy may have a very different experience, but I feel like at least if I can share some of my story, some of my experience, it may help them, you know, relate or connect or understand things, and it may give them the perspective they need.
Yeah, and I think that's the same thing that kind of that I'm doing now too, right? Just obviously telling people that like we had our son via surrogate, and this was kind of the journey that we went on, and then people are like, thank you for sharing that, and people ask questions, right, that they normally wouldn't, and they're like, we don't know who to go to. It doesn't matter, what culture you're from, and having that is really helpful, and that's what we're trying to do is like, just be vocal and open about it so that we can kind of like, help people out as they need it.